Indian technology that's making waves as we speak across the world. We're talking about UPI in particular this morning. Unified Payments Interface. It's obviously what we refer to normally as UPI. It's been a game changer in all of our lives over the last few years. Whether you're getting a snack or you're making a larger bank transfer, now you can obviously do all of that on your phone. Now, the payment system is a shining example of Make in India, and it's already supported in a list of countries. So if you're in Sri Lanka, you're in Mauritius, you're in the UAE, Singapore, Bhutan, these are all places where UPI is a supported system.
And over the last few months, it's also made its way over the enchanting streets of Paris. Now, while you're munching on your croissant and sipping some piping hot coffee, you can even buy your tickets to the Eiffel Tower over a UPI. According to the National Payments Corporation, did you know that Indians are also the second largest group of international visitors to the tower? Where our Indian Olympic athletes are not the only ones creating waves in the city of love. Sanjay Suri brings you this report. He sort of tried it out.
It's still the season to book a summer holiday in Europe, as so much of the middle class does, and there is now so much of the middle class. Count Paris in, of course, and then inevitably a trip up Eiffel Tower. By all means, book online, but you don't have to pay online. You can pay through your UPI app in Indian rupees. Ambassador Javed Ashraf launched a UPI in Singapore back in 2018, and he has now brought it to France.
And then we thought that it would be best to start with Eiffel Tower, the most iconic site of France, and in fact one of the most iconic in the world. Gets about 8 million tourists a year. From what they tell me, about 300,000 to 400,000 tourists from India as well. So we started with Eiffel because we knew that once Eiffel accepts it, it creates a sort of a global image of UPI, and certainly this would be the first in Europe that would do it, and it worked.
It certainly does. On the Eiffel Tower site, find the UPI mode, scan the QR code, and off you go, and up you go.
The merchant, which is the Eiffel Tower in our case, doesn't have to open an account in Indian rupees. So the Indian client pays in rupees, and what is interesting is that the client, when scanning the QR code, sees the exact amount in rupees that will go out of his bank account or her bank account. And NPCI, which is the National Payment Corporation of India, take in charge the conversion part, and we get the money, Lyra, we collect the money in euro, which allows us to transfer the money to Eiffel Tower in euro.
It's not just the Eiffel Tower. Your UPI app can now pay for shopping at the iconic Galeries Lafayette, at the Haussmann store in Paris, and more such shopping through UPI is opening up around Europe.
And we have plans, of course, to deploy it to every places who welcomes Indian tourists, and not only in France, but in all European countries.
India has reasons to promote UPI that stretch beyond Europe and tower above the Eiffel.
It should eventually become a moment, an instrument of remittances, as it has already become in the case of Singapore. So imagine, we get $100 billion of remittances every year, the country with the largest inflow of remittances. Okay, if you're a worker in the Gulf country, you don't have to go to an agent and spend a whole day queuing up before Western Union, or go to a bank and then pay a massive charge in order to make that transaction, to remit your money.
The Eiffel experiment could be the seed of an ambition beyond that too.
That can the protocols and standards behind UPI become an international system, which is that more and more countries, more and more banks, more and more central banks begin to adopt these protocols and standards, UPI, and then it becomes a mode of international transaction.